Hey math lovers, let's go over C7. Determine the zeros or roots of each function or equation. Remember, we're trying to solve for those blue dots there. And I have f of x equals negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 1. Remember, if you get kind of stuck or intimidated by the f of x, you can just change that to a y. Okay, what's the easiest way to solve quadratics? You can try factoring. Now, it's not fun factoring a problem that has a leading coefficient of negative. So you can just take out a negative 1 as your GCF. And let's see, we do the opposite sound. So we have 2x squared plus 8x minus 1. Did you notice I changed all those math operations? Why did I do that? Because if you multiply negative 1 times 2x squared, you get this. Negative 1 times this, you get negative 8x. And negative 1 times negative 1 gives you a positive 1. Okay, let's see if we can factor this in red. Let's go over here. Let's try. A is 2, B is 8, and C is negative 1. A times C would be 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. My B value is 8. Okay, are there any numbers in the world that will multiply to be 2 but add to be 8? The answer is no. No numbers will multiply to be 2 and add to be 8. Okay, what does this mean for us? Okay, this means that we cannot solve by factoring. No factoring. That is sad because that would have been the best method. Okay, what do I do? Well, the factoring of negative 1 is really not needed then. That's just to help us figure out factoring, okay? So, I'm going to now identify our A. A is negative 2. I know it means it opens down. Don't do what I just did, kind of going sloppy there. A equals a negative 2. B is negative 8, and C is positive 1. What do we have to use? Dun, 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 quadratic formula. I will sing for you. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Hope you enjoyed that. Okay. Then we're going to do a substitution. Okay, what does that mean? The A value is negative 2. So every time I see an A value, we're going to do negative 2. A value, negative 2. B value, negative 8. B value, negative 8. And C value, 1. C value is 1. Okay, let's do the substitution here. X equals negative. Okay, now notice the negative sign's not there for the lazy people that you don't have to write a negative number. In yellow, we said that was negative 8 plus or minus the square root of the B value. The B value is negative 8. Again, substitution or replace it with a parentheses and a power of 2 minus 4 times negative 2 times 1 all over 2 times negative 2. Okay, what do we do next? We're going to simplify. So we've done write down the formula, always, every problem, substitution, and now we're going to simplify, which will probably take us the longest, okay? The opposite of a negative 8 is positive 8. Negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, and 8 times 1 is 8. So we have a positive 8 there, all over negative 4. All right. Let's go on. So I have 8 plus or minus the square root of 72 all over negative 4. Square root of 72 we can simplify. Square root of 72, the factors are 9 times 8, and 9 is 3 times 3, and 8 is 4 times 2. And that means that the 3's stay there. The 2 stays there in red. And this 4 is 2 times 2. Remember, the index, this little number up here, is 2. So if they're a pair, they can come out into this scary neighborhood, but they need to hold hands. You have a 2 there. And what's left that's not circled? That is the red 2. So our final answer here is 3 times 2 is 6. 6 radical 2. So what does that mean? Square root of 72 is 6 radical 2. The best one, this was a factoring tree, the best one would have been just 36 times 2, because that would have been 6 radical 2. Okay? All right, so let's write that in purple here. X equals 8 plus or minus, we just said the answer was 6 radical 2 over negative. Too many purple guys. All over. Yeah, that's right. Negative 4. Ooh, Laker game tonight. Yellow and gold. All right, so what do? We got to simplify here. Now, these numbers, I'm going to factor out a 2. Okay, so x equals 2 times 4 plus or minus 3 radical 2 all over 2 times negative 2. Okay, so the 2's, remember, why did I do that? So let's backtrack here. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 3 is 6. That radical 2 is kind of like a variable. You kind of leave it alone. You don't touch it. Okay? And of course, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So we can cancel the 2's because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we're left with this answer. X equals 4 plus or minus 3 radical 2 all over negative 2. Okay, this would be an acceptable answer. It's an exact answer. Let's highlight it in blue. Let's write a note. Exact answer. Notice how there's no decimals here. Now the textbook has a different answer, and I want to show you guys how the textbook gets that answer. So the plus or minus, here's one plus, here's one minus. We're going to separate the problem now. X equals 4 plus 3 radical 2. I'm going to show you guys something over negative 2. You're like, why did you write 2 negative 2's? Well, remember, if you're adding fractions and you have a common denominator, this in yellow, shouldn't have used yellow, but it can go back up to the green, right? That's how you would combine fractions if you have a common denominator, but I'm splitting them. It's not magic, but I'm just trying to explain to you what is happening. 4 divided by negative 2 minus 3 radical 2 over negative 2. Okay, here's the textbook's answer. They wanted to show that you have negative 2, because 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2, plus, okay, now this gets a little bit tricky. I need to, this is positive 3 divided by negative 2. This gives me actually negative 3 radical 2 over 2. Okay, so this is one of their answers. I'll call it answer 1. And over here, you do the same thing. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. And negative divided by negative is a positive. So you're going to have 3 radical 2 over 2. Okay? That is their second answer. So the one in yellow, a little bit cleaner, or you can split into the red and green, and you'll get your answer. Okay? See you guys.